Death and life in the power of the tongue.
Speak life.
Death and life in the power of the tongue.
Speak life.
Death and life in the power of the tongue. Live your life, love Christ, do your best to
Speak life.
Death and life in the power of the tongue.
Speak life.
Death and life in the power of the tongue.
Speak life.
Death and life in the power of the tongue. Live your life, love Christ, do your best to
Speak life.
Hello and welcome back to another amazing episode of the Speak Life podcast. We are so excited to have you with us for another amazing week. I am your host, Minister Phoenix, alongside my beautiful wife and amazing co-host.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Speak Life podcast. This is your co-host, the one and only Sheikah. We're so excited that you're here with us today.
Yes, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Yes, so if this is your first time listening and tuning into the podcast, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment to be a part of the conversation.
Yes.
You don't comment, we ain't got nothing to talk to you about. Comment. Tell us what you think. Drop something. We like hearing from y'all. And if you're part of our faithful listening base who tunes in week after week, whenever you tune in, doesn't matter. You tune in. We appreciate you. We love y'all. Thank y'all for rocking with us week after week after week. Before you know it, we'll hit 1 year. 1 year the 1 year anniversary is coming up. It's coming.
Right?
It's coming. We're going to have to do something special. I don't know what we're going to do for the 1 year, but we're going to have to do something for our 1 year episode. All right, let's jump into it. Now, this week, we are going to be talking about something we briefly touched on last week. You know, the one and only told me, no, we ain't even going to go there yet.
Yes.
Save it for next week. We need a whole episode for this. So this is the episode for that. Now, this week, we going to be talking about complacency
and relationships.
Oh, yeah, you can get complacent there, too. So complacency and relationships is the topic for this week. Now, this, once again, complacency in general is dangerous. This is dangerous, you know, but in relationships, woo, we reaching whole new levels of danger. Now,
well, complacency, in your opinion, is
I don't care what anyone say. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. It is one of the most dangerous things, in my opinion. You know, in my opinion. My opinion. If you disagree, let me know you disagree, and we can talk about it. So I'll start out the conversation with this thought. In your opinion, because this is in my opinion. So in your opinion, how dangerous is complacency in a relationship? Dangerous? Is it a problem? If yes, why? If no, why?
I mean, why not? It depends on a person's view, because one can be complacent in a relationship, and that for them could be a safe space where they're like, ooh, I feel happy with this person. I feel comfortable. I feel this person make me feel safe.
Please elaborate. Tell me more. So,
like, for instance, this person make you feel so loved that you don't feel like you gotta do too much. You just feel like, okay, they everything that they do just make me feel so secure.
But is that complacency though?
Well, it could be. I feel like it depends on, like, complacency in a relationship could be the mere fact that the person make you feel safe and you're complacent, you're comfortable in the relationship, and you don't feel like you have to do too much.
All right.
For the relationship.
All right. For this one, I'm gonna have to break it down. So we can get to the nitty gritty of this. Now, when I'm thinking, when even in coming up with this topic, when we were touching upon it last week, you know, there were some pieces that we had to get in place so we could get to that plane where we wanted to get the debate on. And my piece was this, like, in a relationship, when I think of complacency in a relationship, I picture it as you're at the point where it's just kind of like you're just there. And when I say that, this is what I mean. Because you can be in a relationship where you don't have to do too much. But like in every relationship, and I said this last week, every relationship requires some form of work.
Yeah.
It may not be a lot of work. It may be a little bit of work, but it still requires some form of work in order to keep that relationship going. Now, when I'm talking about in like complacency in a relationship, what I mean is this, and what I really want to get it so we get this clear understanding. It's like this, you in a relationship, right? And you start off, y'all going out, y'all talking, y'all cooking, someone cooking meals on a day. They used to bring you flowers. They used to make you feel special. They used to make you feel loved.
And then they stopped.
And then all of a sudden it's like, it just stopped.
Well, yes,
it's like, but you still in a relationship, but now the things that keep that's supposed to keep the relationship and keep that feeling there have ceased. That's what I mean. Like, taking for granted, that should probably be the best thing. You start taking for granted the things that you have, where you're not putting in the work anymore. Because you can play. You like I was chasing after we got in this relationship. Then it was just like, we here, so there's no more work that needs to go into it.
Well, that's a different. Yeah. Well, if you want to say take for granted, then that's different. But I feel like when we're using complacency in a relationship, I really do feel like one could be comfortable enough to say, I feel secure with you, so I'm complacent.
But even in feeling comfortable with someone, there's still some work that goes into it. Yeah. So, for example, we've been married for a while. Mm-hmm. There's different things that we do. For example, you could come home one day and be like, babe, I don't really feel like cooking. So, could you take care of dinner? And me, being the lovely husband I'm like, I got you. I take care of dinner, But if you came home one day and it was like every single day, no matter what, I'm like, I ain't doing nothing. I ain't washing no dishes.
Then that's going to be a problem.
I ain't washing no dishes. Nah, I ain't washing no dishes. We've been married. I'm just not doing it. I'm not chasing anymore. I'm here. We married. We just living through it.
Yeah. So that's the situation where it's like, if we want to talk about, that could be complacency.
That's complacency. That's when I think of complacency. That's what I think of.
Well, that is.
We ain't going on no date nights. We going home.
But but like you said, it's in your opinion.
Yes.
So someone like when I was thinking complacency in a way where, and that's why I said you could look at it in different ways because it's like, in my opinion, what you just described could be what is complacence, you being complacent, and what I was describing, or in my opinion, what I was saying could be a form of complacency for somebody. Like you feel like you don't gotta do too, because I feel like at one point in our marriage, like I feel like I didn't have to put too much in, because I was like, yeah, it's, especially in the beginning when we're like, okay, yeah, we're madly in love and we're like doing all these things. We're young. We're just excited. No, we're married. Like, I could relax though. I don't have to fight too hard. I don't have to do too much, because it's like, we're not dating anymore. No, actually, you put a ring on it. So therefore, I'm just going to be like, yes, I can relax now.
But even and I don't mean to cut you. I don't mean to cut you, because I see where you're going with that. It's like, there's a difference between courting and trying to work up.
But some people don't know that. So then you become comfortable in that. But comfortable can be okay. You should be comfortable in a relationship. So this is okay. So perfect example. Let's say me and you, we weren't together, and I'm pursuing you. You're someone I want to be with. I'm pursuing you. I'm always sending the compliments. I'm doing everything I need to do. But then when we get together, all that just kind of stops. Yeah.
It kind of stops, right? And even in the midst of like all that, I'm not doing anything to it's just kind of like, you're just like there. You're just going through the motions. It's like
you're not trying to put in any work. It's like we're just there. Like you said.
Yeah, we just there. Mm-hmm. How you gonna feel about that?
But like I mean, if it's like something that's happening all the time and you're just like, okay, like, are you gonna actually I really like when you was doing all that stuff and now you just stop. Are you gonna actually bring me flowers again? Are you actually gonna show me some affection? You know, like, of course you're gonna want that, but what I was trying to get at is that sometimes you become complacent in a way where you feel like you don't have to put too much work into the relationship. And that's what I was trying to explain when I was saying when we first brought up when we got married.
Complacency.
It is. But what I'm saying though, like for me, that was a thing of me. That was for me was like, oh, I'm comfortable, I'm happy, so therefore I'm just like, okay, well, I could relax now. I don't have to do too much. So yes, that's complacency. But I'm saying, for me, it was like where it's like I feel safe.
This is very interesting. This.
So
I think this right here is probably one of the first times in an episode where I'm seeing something some way and you are seeing it totally different, and I like it.
because there's people who like you might have described someone going through a situation as, oh, they're complacent, but that person could be like, I don't think I'm complacent. I think I'm just especially when you've been in other relationships that's been just horrible, and now you find a relationship where you're like, the person is showing you everything, and you was fighting for that relationship before, but now that you're not dating anymore and you're just like, we're married and everything, it's like, wow, I don't have to fight anymore because guess what? He's all mine now. So it's like you don't have to put too much work because now you feel like you have the person, like you're mine, like it's on paper, like I don't have to do too much. So therefore it's like, in one's opinion, that could just be them saying like, yeah, I just feel like letting my hair down now.
This is interesting. This is really interesting because when I think of a complacent relationship, and this could just be me.
But what you're saying though, like it's, of course it's part, like, yes, but I'm saying it could be complacency in a relationship could be like how I'm explaining it. I'm not saying how you're explaining it is wrong.
No. I've never said that what you're saying is wrong. I don't want you to take it. I just see it very, very differently. Now you're talking, in my opinion, what you are talking about is when you get into a relationship where before you had to do so much because, you wanted to, get this person and for them to be in their life. And then when you get them in your life, you get to kind of relax a little. You don't have to do as much. That happens in every relationship. But even in a relationship where you are, there's still maintenance that needs to happen. When that maintenance is not taking place, this is what I like to call complacency.
Yes.
So in this piece, hold on, let me get there, baby. Let me get there. So this is what I'm talking about when I mean complacent. I don't mean like, okay, you're in a relationship, now it's like, oh, I don't dress up and, I don't put on the full makeup and I don't have to go and get my hair done every week. No. You in a relationship, you ain't got to do all that. You ain't got to go that far. But I still believe there are still some things that you absolutely have to do inside of a relationship to keep that relationship on good terms and to keep going. And when you don't do those things, this is what I mean by complacency. This piece right here, that piece where it's like, all right, we in this relationship. I understand, we ain't going to be going on the date nights and the dinner dates every day. But, there's still some things that need to happen because if you being my wife, and I can tell you ain't even got to agree to this. I don't need you to agree to this because I know this. Almost 17 years of marriage, there's some things you just find out. If you, my wife, don't get dressed up every day, and one day, just out of the blue, you start feeling yourself, you're like, yo, I'm going to dress up for my baby. I'm going to put on the heels. I'm going to get my makeup done. I'm just going to, just because it's Tuesday, not because we going out, not because it's an anniversary, but it's Tuesday.
Okay.
And you come in the room and I'm just sitting on the bed watching TV and I don't acknowledge how beautiful you look in that getup that you put on with your hair done up, your makeup on. you gonna feel a way about
Of
that.
course, you're gonna
And like, hey, babe, and
I
you
mean,
know,
anybody would feel away. But what I'm
Exactly.
saying though, so I understand what you're saying and I get it, but what I was trying to say is that like sometimes you the person may not realize it, and then it would take the next person to say, well, you don't really do what you used to do anymore. You don't
of
really
course
do
you're
it
not
like
gonna
that."
realize it because
So-
you got too used to it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So for someone could say that's complacent, like you're being complacent because it's like you don't even realize that.
And this was my initial question: is that a problem? Or
I mean, it
can it cause problems?
it can, yes, it can cause problems. So when you're saying is it a problem, it depends, because it depends on like if you're not like if say for instance if it's me, like, and if I don't have that understanding to say, okay, well, what I'm doing is offending, or the other person is upset about it, or they don't like it and they wish I would change that, then I wouldn't know unless they say something.
Ooh, this is good. So basic. All right. So this is it. This right here. I think I got this. So if we're both complacent, it don't make a difference.
I don't think so, because but I don't know, because now you're trying to put words in my mouth.
No,
I'm
trying to understand this.
Because what I'm saying,
this is a good one.
you heard what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that like sometimes you could be complacent and don't know it. So
I would say that almost all the time when you're complacent, you don't realize
you
it.
don't realize it. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if it's a bad thing. Like, it could be a bad thing because you don't realize it. So if you don't realize something, then you're not going to change it. But if someone else bring it to your attention, then you're going to be like, oh. So just to come off the back to be like, well, it could be bad, but it depends how you look at it. And that's what I was saying. It depends on
I don't know.
how
For
you
me,
look
complacency
at it.
is a problem. That's for me. It's my
It is your
opinion.
opinion.
We can agree to disagree.
Yes, it is.
We can agree to disagree.
Because that could be a sense of safety for a lot of people where they're not being complacent. They just feel safe.
In the sense of a safe space, and I would argue this, in the sense of a safe space, even if someone is making you feel safe, even a relationship is making you feel safe, in my opinion, not an expert, and Minister Phoenix's opinion, there is still something that person is doing to make you feel that way. It could, and sometimes it may not be a physical action of what they're doing, but it could be something that they're not doing. And what I mean by that is this: if you are a person who's been in an abusive relationship, you could meet a guy or a woman who's trash, not a very nice person, but because they're not physically abusing you or verbally abusing you, you stay with them.
Yeah.
Because that's comfortable. It may not necessarily be the right relationship for you, but because they're not as bad as the relationship you had before, that makes you feel safe.
Yeah. So you're saying that's them being complacent. Is that what you're saying?
I feel like if you are in any situation that is not the absolute best for you, and I want to be very clear about the best for you, then I feel like you're being complacent.
Okay, but what if that person don't realize what's best for them and what's not best, like good for them? So
Elaborate.
So what if, because like, I don't know if you deal with people where you're like, you see what's best for them and you're like, it's like they don't see what you see, basically. And you're trying everything to show them like, this situation is not good for you. But they can't see it.
I've had times like this in my life.
So therefore it's like, then what?
That is a good question. How do you approach a situation like that? If you see someone who's
So
not
they may not know.
who's not living up to what they could possibly be, or even if they're in a relationship. And when I say relationship, I want to be clear about this. I'm not just talking about a relationship where, you know, it's like a relationship. It could be a friendship.
Yeah, it could be anything.
It could be, you know, just
Mother,
you know,
daughter,
it could be
father,
any,
son,
and it could be
sibling.
any type of relationship.
Yeah.
If you see someone who's in a relationship that's not beneficial, I would say a toxic relationship, and we can discuss levels of toxicity, but you know, if something's not beneficial to you, if it's causing you more harm than it's causing you good. That's how I would describe it. In any relationship that is causing you more harm than it's causing you good, how would you address that? Future doctor, the one and only Sheikah.
Well, honestly, it's gonna take work. It's gonna take time because you could address something, but if the person doesn't see it, then
I love that piece.
it's like, how are you gonna try to get someone to, you know, see something, to see what you're seeing then? So I think over time, if the person keep on, you know, being in that situation, and then you keep pointing out, like, remember that time, I think over time the person then will see, like, oh wow, yeah, this is definitely not a good relationship for me to be in. Yeah, I don't know.
In relationships, I have this, I really do have this belief, and I don't know if it's valid or not, but once again, just my opinion. In relationships, I believe that people will only see what they are willing to see. Because there's times where you could have as much like evidence of anything in the world, like, yo, this person is not good for you. And I mean, this could be a friendship where it's like, look at how they treat you. Look at how one-sided this is. Look at how this is. Look at how that is. And if the person who it's affecting doesn't want to see it, there's nothing that you can say or do to stop them from doing that.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's definitely true.
So with those situations, it's kind of hard.
It is hard, but again, that's when you have to decide, like, you know what? Let me be open-minded. Let me try to see it from where, like, say for instance, if I was trying to tell you, like, okay, well, that's not good for you, then it's for you to say, you know what? Let me try to see it from where she's seeing it or he's seeing it, you know? But sometimes it takes a outside person to come and say something for you to get it. And what I'm saying with this is that sometimes it takes someone else who is not always around you to say something and for you to get it. It could take, like, maybe a therapist, maybe someone who is not, you know, like, as close to, you know, the other person or close to you to say, wait, I noticed something and this is what I noticed. And then you could, because then for you now you can be like, oh wow, so if they see it, then that means something is really up.
That right there was very interesting because it reminded me of a point that, you know, my brother was making when he was on the podcast, and we were talking about mental health, you know, and we were talking about therapists, like getting a therapist that knows about your background or comes from, you know, your same background. And one of the things that he said was that really stuck out to me that I never really thought about. He's like, you know, he's like, sometimes it's good to not have a therapist that comes from the same places that you come from. And in the example that he gave, he's like, you know, when we was coming up, he's like, you know, we'd seen some of our friends, you know, get killed and things like that. He's like, if you have a therapist who comes from those same places, it's like, to them, they understand what you're going through. But the fact of the matter is, that's not normal. That so even though they may empathize with why you feel certain ways, it's like we sometimes will take dysfunction and normalize it and think that it's okay. So sometimes it does take someone from an outside lens to be like, listen, although this may have happened to you and you may know a lot of people who have had the same thing happen to you, it don't supposed to be like that.
Yeah.
That ain't how it's supposed to be. And that's an interesting one. Yeah. Maybe there needs to be some third party external intervention in order to break out of these cycles.
Yeah.
This was actually a much deeper topic than I really thought it was gonna jump into.
I definitely feel like different people have different views on things. And my view, like, and I said this before, that for me, one could have looked at the fact that I'm like, yes, I'm married now. Like, I don't have to do too much. I don't have to put work in. Because mind you, I'm young. I didn't know marriage, you have to put work. Okay, you hear it, people talk about it, but what does that mean? I don't know what that means. Oh, work? Okay. That means I have to cook. That means I have to make sure that you're not going to work hungry and that you have your lunch with you. You have, like, that's, to me, that's what that it means. Put work.
But I think that goes into it.
It goes into it, but when you're like, put work, like, there's a lot more that comes. There
are plenty of things that go along with that, but I think all of those things kind of work together. Yeah,
they work together, but for me, it was like
that's it.
And I'm like, okay, well, as long as his belly's full, and as long as I'm taking care of his needs, then I'm good.
I feel you on that because I can be real with that. Because like for me with marriage, it was like, all right, as long as you going to work, you taking care of the bills, and you take care of your wife when you come home. That's it. That's straight. It, yeah. You's a good husband.
So when you're saying, like, for me, that was it. That's all. So you could have, like, now that you're more mature and know more, you could look at it and be like, oh, you was you was being complacent.
Oh no, I was being complacent. I was like, I'm good. Pfft, we done. I'm going to work 40 hours a week. You get checked. We good.
So you don't know until, like I said, someone coming in and say, well, there's a problem with that. Like,
you don't know what you don't know.
You don't know. So, and that's what I was trying to get at when I was saying that for me, I was in a safe space. I was happy. I'm like, that's it. I don't need nothing else. So, but for me, I would have, if someone would have said to me, Shika, that's you being complacent, I would be like, what are you talking about? No. No.
So in this sense, complacency, if we're using that logic, complacency goes with needs, if you will. And what I mean by that is this: if you're in a relationship, a friendship, relationship with your parents, or parental relationship or whatever, if the person is meeting whatever your desired need is at that time, then as long as the need is being met, then it doesn't constitute as being complacent.
I guess you could say that.
So,
because when you're, because if we want to look at it like that, I feel like when you're complacent in a relationship, it's like you don't feel the need to make it better.
In my thought process with that, when I say in the term of make it better, if I'm in a relationship, if I'm in a friendship, I'll use friendship because I don't want everyone to think this is just about marriage and, boyfriend, girlfriend relationships and anything like that. If I'm in a friendship, for example, and in this friendship, my friend is not meeting the need of what this relationship's supposed to be in, then that's a problem. Mm-hmm. So if it's like, and my friends know the type of friend that I'm not calling you like all the time. I'm not, but if I was one of those friends, and it's like if me and you are friends, and I'm the type of friend that I need you to check in on me every week, and I'm gonna call you, and I need you to pick up my phone call at least once a week, or when I send you a text message, I want you to reply to me the same day. I don't want a 2 day later type of text message, because that's the type of relationship that we have. And then it starts off good, and we keeping those relationship those communication lines open, and we tapped in, and we like, yeah, you my people, is this, that, and next, and then all of a sudden somewhere that falls off. Now at that point, we've been friends for a while, what it is, but now it's like you're not holding up to your side of the friendship.
So are you saying that now you're complacent in the friendship if you're not?
I would say so. For the sense of what the need of the friendship would be.
I don't know if I would say that.
I think so.
No, I wouldn't. You know why? Because life change.
It does.
Situation change.
It does.
So maybe my situation changed in a way where I can't do that anymore because things change. So therefore, if I am your friend and you know me as a friend, you should know that it doesn't matter what. Even if I'm not calling you, I'm not checking in as much as I used to, you should still know what it is.
But that's not always the case.
No, it's not.
And what I would say is this. If situations change, and you are my friend, and you know the type of friend that I am, and you know that, what? I know so-and-so is going to be calling me to check in on me at this time, or, they're going to shoot me a text, and, they're going to be looking, they ain't going to be, because we know the type of friends we got. We got friends that you ain't got to call them for like 6 months, and you call them and it's like, boom. It's like we was on, it seems like we was on the phone yesterday, but I ain't talked to you since like last Thanksgiving.
You need that, like,
you have friends like that, but then you have friends that have a little bit higher needs. If I am one of your higher needs friends, and the type of friend that I am, and you see me trying to still maintain that relationship, even when life changes, I feel like if that is not verbalized and it just seems like you just kind of fall off the map, or it's like, I'm the only one reaching out, I'm the only one texting, I'm the only one trying to find out what's good with you and how you feeling. I'm feeling like you taking me for granted as your friend. You getting complacent in our relationship.
Yeah. And I mean, that goes for family too.
We don't even want to talk about family on here. I need to stay in people's good graces. So we'll hold off on.
No, but I'm not saying to talk about. But
no,
I'm
messing.
Like
I'm
that
messing because I don't be calling my cousins, and I know they like, man.
Well, it's not. But I'm just using that example to say, okay, that could go. I'm not saying to.
No, it can be. It can go along with family
honestly,
also.
Calls goes both ways.
It does. The phone does work both ways.
It does. So I wouldn't even.
So that's what I was saying. Like in that instance, like in the friendship, even if you said take family for granted, like exactly. If you take family for example, and the same things happen, is like, if you one of my cousins or you one of my siblings, and it's like every time I'm calling you, I'm sending you text messages, I'm checking in to see how you doing, and then it's like you just ain't calling like me like ever, like, or like checking in on me. It's like, yo, like what's going on? Like, I think you're taking this relationship for granted. I think you're taking,
or maybe they don't want the same thing. Maybe it's not as important to them as how it's important to you. So that could be it.
So maybe it's not complacency. Maybe they just they don't want the same things that
you want.
You want. Ooh, I didn't even think about that one, to be honest. That was a good one. That was a gem right there. Maybe we need to reevaluate these relationships.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's not complacency, people. Maybe they just don't want the same things that you want.
Yeah.
That was a gem. Man, I felt that one in my spirit.
Yeah, like fighting for something that only you want.
Ooh.
And I mean, that's not going to work.
Oh, gosh.
But like for me, I
Ain't gonna
think
work.
the way that I am is that I will go the extra mile, and I will until I realize that you're not trying, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm
Until.
done. But then that could take a long time.
Yes, I know. I be trying to speed it up for you.
Oh please! All right. All right. So I think that was a good episode. So,
That was wow. I got
That
so
was a
I
good
got so many
episode.
questions, and we just ain't really got time for this episode. I think
we could do a part 2.
this is definitely a swing back episode because there's a lot that goes along with this, especially with the maybe you want something that they don't really want.
Yeah.
Ooh, I had to say that another time because that just wow. It's not complacency. You just running after something that they don't want.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Goodness.
Yep.
That just blew my mind. We done right there. We just gonna close it off right there. I can't even say nothing to that one. Remember, death and life are in the power of the
your
tongue. So make sure you speak life. Make sure
Speak
if
life.
you don't got your copy of When Three Roads Collide, go get your copy. Stop playing. This book is a blessing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It'll really change your outlook on some of the things that happen in life. If you haven't checked out the website, go check it out. 3roadscollide.com. Don't forget to like, tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend. We love y'all.
Love you.
Have an amazing week.
blessed.
Blessings.